Now, entrepreneurship is being hailed as the best thing to happen to South Africa, and economists say it's the country's engine growth, contributing greatly to our gross domestic product. And South Africa will be hosting one of the first conferences in Cape Town to encourage this entrepreneurial spirit. It's the first time it occurs on our soils. Now, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Global Startup Workshop will bring key speakers and renowned thought leaders on the subject. Joining me now is Fredell Jacobs, the program leader of the MIT Global Startup Workshop. Fredell, thanks so much for making time this morning.
Only a pleasure.
We always talk about entrepreneurship, but in essence, it's not everybody that can be an entrepreneur, and you also don't have to think outside the box. If we look at the criteria of what makes up an entrepreneur, what are you looking at?
Well, you know, entrepreneurship is a way of thinking, really, which is opportunistic in its approach, but leads a balance at the same time. So you might well have entrepreneurs in a corporate environment, which in today's sort of terminology is referred to as intrapreneurs. So it's really just a frame of mind, you know, the way you operate with the type of resources at your disposal, and then how you take that forward and make the best out of that.
And as Raymond Ackerman says, it takes 90% guts and 10% capital. That's one of the characteristics of an entrepreneur. Are we seeing enough people taking advantage of, one, the legislation, the macroeconomic framework, and just opportunities? Well,
you know, there's a study, a global study that's been done every year called the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, and you do see some improvement in certain areas. The policy environment, as you well pointed out, is certainly very favorable. Obviously, current economic conditions don't allow banks perhaps to look at the entrepreneurship space, especially in the startup space, where things are normally a bit more risky, where you can really lose your shirt. So that doesn't really help at the moment. But I think in the broader context of things, the policy framework is certainly very enabling. And create those opportunities and make it perhaps more easily available.
So we're still looking at bureaucracy and red tape, obviously curbing the growth of entrepreneurship, where there are fantastic ideas and they're very skilled people that could create much needed employment, and yet it's hindered because of the red tape.
To a certain extent, yeah, certainly true. You know, obviously commercial institutions are looking for collateral when they do want to back your idea. You find that type of culture in terms of venture capital is not as strong as you would find in the United States, for instance, where people are willing to throw money at projects and sustain those until such time they become viable. Google is a very good example, where they've plowed money into Google for years before it became profitable.
Okay, let's look at the Technology Global Startup Workshop starting in Cape Town. Who are you attracting, and what do you aim to achieve with it?
The conference normally now, it's in its 12th year this time around. The conference normally attracts around 30% entrepreneurs. These are entrepreneurs in various stages of an entrepreneurial life cycle, from startup to fully fledged businesses. And that's fairly useful because we can learn a lot from those people. Around 30% students. It is, after all, a conference organized by students. These are students thinking about entrepreneurship, got an idea already. What do I do with it? How do I develop it further? How do I operationalize it? 30% academia, more or less, you know, some of the thought leaders in the entrepreneurship space that can share with us there, and then about 10% policymakers and advisory type of.
So what happens where entrepreneurs have a concept, but they don't necessarily have the know-how in terms of bringing it to fruition, and yet it's still a brilliant idea, and you know, it could grow?
Yeah, I would say, you know, in the South African environment, there are many institutions like the Cedars, the Kula Enterprise Development, that would certainly be able to assist entrepreneurs in that, you know, to sort of take that idea and provide you with the foundations and support to move forward. And this is exactly why the Center for Entrepreneurship at Wits Business School bid for this conference, to sort of learn from the MIT system, which they call the entrepreneurship ecosystem, how to really put those foundations in place to assist young people to develop those type of ideas and take it forward.
All right, it happens next month in Cape Town. How do we gain access?
Well, you could certainly visit our website. It's open for registration now. It's www.mitgsw.org. and it's open for registration now. Lovely time of the year for Cape Town, you would know. It's happening between the 25th and the 27th of March, and that would be at the Pavilion Conference Centre in the waterfront.
All right, fantastic. Fredell, thanks so much for making time this morning.
Only a pleasure.
A budding entrepreneur himself, Fredell Jacobs, the program leader of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Global Startup Workshop, talking to us about their starting your own business, and you can too attend the conference. It starts from the 20th until the 25th, but we'll give you details. Now though, let's take a look at how the rand is performing against major currencies.